Yo, 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 what up, though? This is your boy, Chris B. Daniels, and you are now tuned in to Show and Talk. So, last week, we talked about the film Mortal Kombat Snowblind. It's the newest addition to the Mortal Kombat Legends movies. And tonight, I want to talk about the Mortal Kombat movie that came out last year, Mortal Kombat 2021, which is what I refer it as. You know what I'm saying? So, before we get into this movie, y'all, there's a couple of things I like to mention. Well, one thing I like to mention actually, the script. Like I had actually came across the script online before this movie even dropped, and it was damn near different from the final cut that we got. You know what I'm saying? I think it was like one or two or even three different types of scripts. You know what I'm saying? Now, the thing that a lot of people see as kind of an issue was the character Cole Young. Because you have a million different characters in the franchise you could have chose from to play the main protagonist. You know what I'm saying? Which in one, I don't know why Liu Kang wasn't the main protagonist. You know what I'm saying? Or even Johnny Cage. You know what I'm saying? Which wasn't in the movie at all. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it yet. But yeah. So they came up with a character named Cole Young, made up ass character. You know what I'm saying? Which the actor that played him. It was a pretty good actor. You know what I'm saying? Good in martial arts and all of that. I forgot what old boy's name was, but yeah, I've seen him in a couple of other things too. But yeah, he's a pretty good actor, yo. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the action, the gore. So this movie holds no punches, yo. Like as far as the gore level, this movie was freaking awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like the fights, especially in the beginning between Scorpion and Sub-Zero, or Hanzo Hasashi and Bihan. You know what I'm saying? This is before they became Scorpion and Sub-Zero, according to this timeline. Now, the difference to me between the movie and the games, I believe the games took place in modern times. But in the movie, this fight scene takes place in the 1600s. You know what I mean? So it was several decades and centuries before the modern times. You know what I'm saying? Which one thing I would like to question is, how the hell did Sub-Zero survive all those years or live all those years? Was he immortal or what? You know what I mean? Like, Bihan was, you know what I'm saying? Like, not hundreds of years old in the games. But that's just something I question. I don't know. Maybe they did explain it and my ass just wasn't paying attention enough because certain parts of the movie was pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, y'all. That's my damn dog barking at the window. See, I tried to do a video. Every time I try to do a video, y'all, my dog just starts. But I hope y'all can hear me. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to, make it through this. But, yeah. So the violence level was pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, now I think the gore, as far as like the blood and everything, I think that might have been CG. But it was pretty convincing, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love the way, you know what I'm saying, Hanzo was just taking dudes out in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? He was just washing them. This was the Lin Kuei, you know what I'm saying, who came to his village, killing off, you know what I'm saying, his clan. And then Sub-Zero appears out of nowhere. Or Bihan, I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep saying Sub-Zero. He wasn't Sub-Zero yet. But, you know what I'm saying, he showed up in Bihan's house. He showed up at his house. Walked in, his wife and his child was standing there. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, next thing you know, he froze them to death. And this is when Hanzo Hasashi makes it back to, the village. Because he was right outside getting water. And right now, this is just me, you know what I'm saying, getting into this part of the story. Which I haven't really made it to the story aspect yet. But I just wanted to talk about this part. You know what I'm saying? And then the origins of his, you know what I'm saying, harpoon or roping chain or whatever, or kunai with the rope, comes from the kunai that his wife was using to plow the dirt or whatever in the garden. So as he's fighting these dudes, he throws his sword at one of the guys and, you know what I'm saying, catches him in the chest. And then he takes the kunai, wraps it up with a rope, and starts washing everybody else with it. Next thing you know, the fight scene ends up with him and Bihan, you know what I mean? And Bihan takes him out, I'll say almost pretty easily. You know what I'm saying? So that fight scene was pretty good. one of the best fight scenes in the movie, and this is the beginning. You know what I mean? So yeah, the gore level was there. I loved it. You know what I'm saying? So there was a couple other scenes where, the gore was kind of unnecessary, but I still liked it. You know what I mean? But let's just get into the story. Now, I've already mentioned all of the beginning scenes between Hanzo Hasashi and Bihan. And again, for those who aren't serious Mortal Kombat fans, Hanzo Hasashi was Scorpion before he was Scorpion. You know what I'm saying? And Bihan is Sub-Zero. That's the older brother. Kuai Lin Yang is the younger brother. You know what I'm saying? So it's two different Sub-Zeros. But yeah, after all of that took place, years later, well, before it, you know what I'm saying, before it went to minor times, Raiden appears. Because one thing I didn't mention was Hanzo did have a baby girl. And Raiden came and took that baby girl, which, there's no real story on her or nothing like that. He just took it because that baby girl is pretty much creating the bloodline between Hanzo into this new character they introduced named Cole Young, which I still don't know why they put him in the movie. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not taking nothing away from the actor. He did a good job as an actor. That character, to me, was just unnecessary. So then it skips over to modern times, where Cole is about to get into a basically like an MMA match. You know what I'm saying? So in the beginning of his match, he's dominating. You know what I'm saying? He's dominating, washing old boy up. And the next thing you know, somehow old boy takes him down, gets him into a hole. You know what I'm saying? And he taps out. So after that, Jack shows up. Jack talks to him. You know what I'm saying? He's letting them know what's going on. Or he tries to let them know what's going on. But at first, Cole doesn't believe him. So him and his family leaves the gym or whatever. And then next thing you know, there's a scene where his daughter's outside eating ice cream. And Cole and his wife are inside the restaurant or whatever. And next thing you know, it just starts snowing all of a sudden. Which I think a lot of people had already caught on to the fact that was Sub-Zero who showed up in the town or whatever, looking for Cole. So basically, he's destroying the town, trying to get to Cole. Jack shows up, tells him to get into the car, him and his family. They rolling away, you know what I mean? And somehow, Sub-Zero appears in front of the SUV. And it's like, how did he get right there? This motherfucker teleport? Because if one thing in the original games, I don't remember Sub-Zero ever doing that. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you. So he's, somehow makes it right there in front of the SUV. And then Jax gets out, tells Cole to take the car, turn his family around, take his family to safety. You know what I'm saying? So he's looking for Sub-Zero. You know what I mean? He finds him in a warehouse or whatever, and they start fighting. And it's already predictable. And this is like the third iteration that I know of, maybe the fourth, maybe even the eighth. I don't know. That Jax get his arms blown off somehow. It was this time Sub-Zero, he freezes his arms and shatters them. You know what I mean? So you would think he's dead because he falls from several stories high. You know what I'm saying? Hitting his head on a beam or whatever, then hitting the ground, unconscious. Like the way he was laying there, he should have been dead. But if it wasn't for the ice, he would have been dead from blood loss. You know what I'm saying? Because of the ice, froze the nerves or whatever in his arm, you know what I'm saying, to keep the blood from coming out. So Cole drops off his family, and then he goes out to where Jax instructed him to go to meet Sonya. You know what I'm saying? So he shows up at her house. You know what I mean? So it's like this man seen what Sub-Zero could pretty much do. And he's in there, you know what I'm saying? He meets Sonya. Sonya doesn't know who he is at first until Cole told him that Jax told him to meet him here. You know what I mean? Or meet him there. So she's showing him, the history of Mortal Kombat, how the tournaments took place. Basically like the lore, you know what I mean? She explains everything. So next thing you know, she has somebody tied up in the corner. And this somebody turns out to be Kano. Now, a lot of reviews I've watched about this movie, Kano is like everybody's favorite character in the movie. He steals the show. He's like 10 out of 10 compared to everybody else. But to me, Kano is all right. Yeah, he's a comic relief character, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? He does say some pretty funny shit, but I don't want to, say, oh man, Kano was the best thing that happened in the movie, because I kind of don't think so. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say any character was better than another. You know what I mean? I think just about every actor who played the characters put it on a pretty good performance. Notice I said just about, and you'll see why in a minute. So, uh, next thing you know, Reptile shows up as they're talking, and he's using his. Now the thing about Reptile, right? He can turn invisible. Everybody knows that he turns invisible in the games, and he turns invisible in the movies. The original movie, you know what I'm saying? Like the original movie, he gets thrown into a statue and becomes Reptile. You know what I mean? And fun fact, I think that scene in the original Mortal Kombat movie was filmed at the last minute, because originally that scene was not in the movie. You know what I mean? But yeah, moving on. So Reptile shows up out of nowhere under Shang Tsung's instructions. You know what I'm saying? He told Melina to send in Sazov, which is Reptile's real name, by the way. So Reptile shows up. He starts fighting. He starts watching all three of them at the same time: Kano, Cole, and Sonya. And next thing you know, Cole actually had a pretty good idea. He told Kano to take a flask or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Light it up. He stuck it on Reptile. So Reptile, even when he was like, you know what I'm saying, disappearing, they could still see him because of the shit stuck to him. You know what I'm saying? So now they whooping his ass. And next thing you know, Kano rips out his heart. And it says, you know what I'm saying, Kano. And then he says, Kano wins. Fatality. You know what I mean? That shit was pretty damn funny. I ain't even gonna lie. You know what I mean? And it was accurate to his fatality in the very first Mortal Kombat game. You know what I mean? So I can't give him credit for that one. So next thing you know, Kano knows somebody who's got a plane who can take him out to Raiden's hideout. You know what I'm saying? Or Raiden's temple. I'm sorry. And Sonya offers to give this man $3 million. At first it was $2 million, I guess. Kano said 3. But I'm like, based on where she's living, why would you believe this chick had $3 million, bro? Or even $1 million, let alone 3. You know what I mean? So for some reason, he believed him. Kano's supposed to be smarter than that. You know what I'm saying? So they, you know what I'm saying, get the plane, or on their way to the chopper or whatever, the plane or whatever. And then Kano and Sonya get into like a little squabble. You know what I'm saying? Sonya washes him up easily. And my thing about that is, throughout the years, right? Throughout all the games, Sonya always whooping Kano's ass. Like every single game, bruh. And I'm like, yo, I know this dude's tired of getting his ass whooped. So she whoops his ass easily. Cole Young standing around watching. And next thing you know, after a while, they show up to Raiden's temple. And out of nowhere, Liu Kang shows up. And everybody knows it's Liu Kang. But he has like this epic reveal. So when Kano walks up to him, and for some reason, Liu Kang throws a fireball at him. You know what I'm saying? Hitting him. I guess that's the way he says hello to everybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But yo, he fucked him up. You know what I'm saying? And then Liu Kang is basically telling him about Raiden and how they're the chosen warriors, or this and that. Which again, I still don't understand how Liu Kang was not the main protagonist. You got Cole Young. But anyway, Liu Kang escorts them to Raiden's hideout. So, Raiden shows up. And Raiden's kind of an asshole in this movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, Raiden's character in the original 2 movies is like a comic relief character. But in this movie, he was a straight asshole, because when he first saw the 3 warriors, he didn't have no belief in them at all, even though 2 of them had the mark, which brought out their arcana or whatever that shit was called. You know what I'm saying? Which I thought it was dumb as fuck, because in the games, they had the power just because they had the power. You didn't have to have a mark to use it. You know what I'm saying? To use your abilities. So, after they're talking or doing whatever, they start training. You know what I'm saying? There's a funny scene in the movie too, where Kano is training with Liu Kang. Liu Kang kept tripping his ass. I think he tripped him like what, 3 times? That shit was pretty damn funny, yo. Cole, well, before the training scene, Shang shows up with Cabal. I think it was Cabal, Melina, no, Sub-Zero. I'm sorry, Sub-Zero and Melina with Shang Tsung, right? So they start fighting Sub-Zero and Liu Kang. Liu Kang almost gets taken out by Sub-Zero until Kung Lao shows up. You know what I mean? And then Raiden shows up right after that because Shang Tsung basically wants to take them out before, the tournament starts. And mind y'all, and this is a spoiler alert, and I'm going to say this now, the spoiler alert. There is no tournament in this movie. None. You know what I'm saying? That's why they're probably going to make a second movie. You know what I mean? I don't know how good this one did because I didn't go back and look at the gross or nothing like that, box office numbers or nothing. So more than likely, they're probably going to make a second movie anyway, even if it didn't do that well. You know what I'm saying? Some studios do that just to finish the story. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. After all of that's done, Raiden's basically saying, yo, back up. You know what I'm saying? You breaking the rules, blah, blah, blah. And Shang Tsung's basically saying the Elder Gods are too lazy to stop him, which the Elder Gods didn't show up at all in this movie either. So he could have been telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? But next thing you know, Raiden shows up, right? Basically sending Shang Tsung and his minions away. Shang Tsung, Melina, and Sub-Zero away. So now they're in the training grounds of the temple. You got Kung Lao versus Cole Young. Then you got Liu Kang versus Kano. And you know what I'm saying? Cole Young is training with Kung Lao, but Kung Lao doesn't really believe that. Because Kung Lao was kind of an asshole too. You know what I'm saying? Even though that's my boy in the games, but he was kind of an asshole too, yo. So the only person that wasn't able to train with them was Sonya because she didn't have a mark. So they saw her as a liability. You know what I mean? So she went back, and next thing you know, Jax was there, laying like a makeshift hospital bed or whatever. So Liu Kang is basically telling Sonya that he found the best people, like the best doctors or whatever, from the different realms. You know what I'm saying? To come and take care of Jax. Now, at this point, Jax has the metal arms, but they're not like the metal arms like they were in the game. These metal arms were like, these shits made it like he got scrawny ass arms and whatnot. But Jax, he has the mark. It's just that now he had to figure out how to, activate his mark because his arcana was basically his arms. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to skip it a little bit. You know what I mean? So the way that his arcana, activates is because Sonya gets stuck under a rock or whatever. And Jax is trying to lift the rock, but he can't because of his arms, you know what I'm saying? But that's how he activates his arcana, you know what I'm saying? Like, he lifts the rock. Like, I guess it's because he saved Sonya's life, so he gives everything he got. Next thing you know, his arms get bigger. And now he has the arms that he had in the game. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to talk too much on the story because I know some of y'all haven't seen it yet. You probably do want to watch it, so I'm not going to spoil too much. You know what I mean? But I will say this, there is no tournament in the movie. None. You know what I mean? So we're going to stop right there and move on to characters. You know what I'm saying? Because this is one part of the video I like, is talking about the characters and the performances. The first character I want to talk about is Scorpion. Now, okay, without spoiling for y'all, I'm going to explain as best as I can about Hanzo. You know what I'm saying? So in the beginning of the movie, Hanzo is a family man, basically. You know what I'm saying? As everybody knows. He had a family, he had a clan. So we know that Hanzo was an excellent swordsman, you know what I'm saying, leader of his clan, basically, in the movie. Not sure about the games, though. I know he grew up, like he was born in the clan or whatever, but he did not start the Shirai Ryu. You know what I'm saying? So he was one of the best members of his clan. You know what I'm saying? And then when Bihan showed up, which is another thing. Sub-Zero, the original Sub-Zero Bihan, did not kill Scorpion's family in the games. It was Quan Chi disguising himself as Bihan. You know what I'm saying? So in the movie, it was just Sub-Zero. But anyway, yeah, he's a talented fighter. You know what I'm saying? One hell of a swordsman, but he winds up getting killed at the beginning of the movie. Sadly, you know what I mean? Again, it's a spoiler, but you will see that in the beginning, so it really ain't gonna make much of a difference if I tell you now, and if he versus you, going to see it. But yeah, he was a pretty good. Like I love his performance. I forgot old boy's name, the actor, but he's a great martial artist. He starred in a lot of films. He played in a lot of movies. You know what I'm saying? I've seen him in some shit. You know what I mean? But moving on, Sub Zero, aka Bihan. You know what I mean? Now this dude, hey, what was his real name? I be forgetting shit, y'all. Y'all gotta forgive me, but yo, he was a pretty good actor too. Now, one movie I seen this dude in was a movie called The Night Comes for Us All. It's one of the most gory movies out there. It's a martial arts film. That shit is good. You know what I'm saying? He plays the main protagonist in that movie. But in this one, his performance of Sub Zero was pretty sadistic. You know what I'm saying? Like you could tell, you could look at his face and tell he was enjoying himself playing that role. You know what I mean? From the time he showed up in the village, killing the wife and child, up until he shows up in the city looking for Cole Young. You know what I'm saying? Like he enjoyed his performance of Sub Zero. Now I will say, I don't understand why they made Sub Zero the main henchman of Shang Tsung. You know what I'm saying? Well, Sub Zero is a pretty good fighter, but still, you know what I mean? Like that'd be the last thing that happens in the games. You know what I'm saying? Even though in the original Mortal Kombat movie, Sub Zero and Scorpion were like Shang Tsung's henchmen under his control. You know what I'm saying? In this movie, he was just doing it on his own will, and that's not Sub Zero really. You know what I'm saying? The games, especially. You know what I mean? He's not like he takes jobs, but he's getting paid for it. You know what I'm saying? Like Shang Tsung basically doesn't show up to the beginning if you play Mortal Kombat. I mean, in the end, if you play Mortal Kombat Mythologies. You know what I'm saying? Which is a great game, by the way. A lot of people don't like it, but I thought it was a solid game. Hard as shit. Because I had it for N64. I never played the PlayStation version, which I'm going to one of these days. I'm going to get that shit. But anyway, in the movie, he works for Shang Tsung. You know what I'm saying? Like Shang Tsung, he's one of Shang Tsung's strongest henchmen. Which, again, that wouldn't happen in the games. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's pretty much his character. You know what I'm saying? Without trying to spoil it too much. Yeah, Sub-Zero sadistic in the movie. And like I said, the actor that played him, you could tell he was really enjoying himself. So, yeah, moving on. The next character, Cole Young. Sorry, y'all. Stepped away from the mic for a minute. Cole Young. So again, I really did not understand why they made this guy a main character or even a character at all in this movie. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, they felt the need to, I guess, bring in a new character for the fans, new fans or whatever, which Cole Young never appears in any game. No game. None. You know what I mean? Rumor is, though, if they do release Mortal Kombat 12 anytime soon, there's a rumor saying that Cole Young might be in the game. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how he's going to fit into the lore, but they say he might be in the game. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just preparing y'all for that. But yeah, he's like an MMA fighter. You know what I'm saying? Family man. And at first, the relationship he had with the girl in the beginning, before his fight, I thought maybe that was his sister or something like that. But no, that's his daughter. You know what I mean? And the one thing, it's like he was getting his ass whooped in the cage match or whatever, or in the MMA match. You know what I'm saying? He was losing. Like he tapped out. And I will say, between that, from there to the fight he had with Goro, you know what I'm saying? Goro, that's Shang Tsung's main henchman in the games, especially the first game. Goro, Prince Goro. Goro shows up at Cole's house. I'm not going to say what happens, but let's just say the fight he had in the beginning versus the fight he had with Goro didn't really make much sense to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to keep it at that. All right? So I'm done with Cole. So we're going to move on. Moving on to Sonya. You know what I'm saying? Now, I got to say, the chick that plays Sonya looked just like her, yo. You know what I mean? And they kept it accurate when Sonya kept beating up Kano. Because there's a scene in the movie where Kano turns on the forces are good. You know what I'm saying? Like the forces of light or whatever, Kung Lao, Liu Kang, Raiden, all of them. You know what I'm saying? So he works for Shang Tsung. And next thing you know, him and Sonya fight again, and she gets the upper hand. You know what I'm saying? I'll say she winds up taking them out. I'm gonna leave it at that because as far as Kano and Sonya always fighting, we know that's not really a spoiler because you already know Sonya is gonna win. She's won every single time. You know what I'm saying? If you played any game, watched any movie, you know what I'm saying? Well, besides Annihilation, but we're not talking about that one. But yeah, Sonya wins. You know what I'm saying? Every single time. So that shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. You know what I mean? But yeah, Sonya winds up she winds up getting her arcana. You know what I'm saying? I hate using that term. And she does get her power. But I'm not gonna say how she uses it. Like I said, you gotta watch the movie. Alright? So we're gonna move on to Jax. Okay, so in the beginning, right? Between Mortal Kombat 2 and Mortal Kombat 3. In the second Mortal Kombat game, that's where Jax makes his debut. He doesn't have the metal arms. It's not until Mortal Kombat 3. So, I feel like in this movie, they did Jax kind of dirty. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, so Sub-Zero, right? Which is Shang Tsung's main henchman. Understandably strong. Sub-Zero is pretty strong. But it's just like, I felt like Jax could have put up a better fight with Sub-Zero than what he did. You know what I mean? And Sub-Zero shouldn't have been the one that blew his arms off, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And y'all seen that in the trailer, so that's not really a spoiler. But later on, Jax becomes a beast. He gets his arms, and he winds up fighting General Reiko. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to tell you how that fight turned out. You just got to watch the movie. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to drop little hints for each character that we, talk about. So, the next character, right? Liu Kang. Which, again, ladies and gentlemen, I don't understand why Liu Kang was not the main protagonist. He should have been. You know what I mean? Like, he should have been. Not Cole Young. But anyway, Liu Kang is more of like a humble character in this game. Even more humble than the games. You know what I'm saying? In this movie, excuse me. So Liu Kang is kind of like Raiden's right hand, right along with Kung Lao. You know what I'm saying? And from the movie, it seemed like Kung Lao is a better fighter, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But it's really Liu Kang. Liu Kang, I got a feeling the next movie is going to fight Shang Tsung directly. I don't know if they make another one. But in this movie right here, Liu Kang fights Cabal, which in the games, they really didn't have much of a rivalry. You know what I'm saying? But Cabal, man, I felt like, I forgot to put him down in my notes. You know what I'm saying? As a character that I wanted to talk about. But in this movie, Cabal was probably one of the most hated characters, in my opinion. I didn't like that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Liu Kang did his thing. He took him out. I'm not going to tell you how he took him out, but he took him out. You know what I'm saying? And it was kind of accurate to the games. And the shit was dope how he took him out. But like I said, if you want to see it, go watch it. Trust me, that shit is fire, man. No pun intended, because Liu Kang uses fire, so whatever. Next character, we're going to talk about Kano. So, Kano has the marking, you know what I'm saying? And he does technically have the ability to unlock his ability. And he does so because he's sitting at the dinner table with the rest of the crew, with the rest of the team or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And the one that kept insulting him more than anybody was Kung Lao, you know what I'm saying? So Kano got pissed off. And eventually he shot the laser out of his eye. You know what I'm saying? Like, he, because Kung Lao kept calling him names and saying different shit, slick shit. And then he just eventually shot the laser out of his eye. You know what I'm saying? At Kung Lao and Liu Kang. And they moved out the way and dodged it. That's how he unlocked his ability. Which is not really a spoiler alert, again, because we already know Kano has the laser eye. But in the movie, he doesn't have the patch or whatever, the laser eye. He just has that ability to shoot a laser out of his eye. You know what I'm saying? And he's pretty funny too. You know what I mean? He's pretty funny. And if you know anything about Kano, then you know he's going to work for anybody who can pay him the most. So it wasn't a no-brainer when you find out that he turns on his team. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, that's all I'm gonna say about Kano. You just gotta watch the movie to know, to see the rest. You know what I mean? So, next character I want to talk about, Sizoff, aka Reptile. So, Reptile. Reptile doesn't show up that much. In this movie, he's just like a plain lizard. He's like a regular lizard. Like, he's not, I'm sorry, y'all, that was my dryer. But he's not a humanoid lizard. Well, technically he is, but he's not like a ninja, like Scorpion or Sub-Zero. He doesn't have a human form. He's just a humanoid reptilian creature. And he's not in the movie much because he winds up getting killed by Kano. He's in the movie maybe for 5 or 6 minutes. You know what I'm saying? If that. So it ain't really much to talk about on with Reptile. Just watch the movie and you'll see what I mean. Next character. And this character right here, I just don't understand why they even put her in the movie, Natara. To me, Natara is a random character. She didn't make an appearance into the PlayStation 2 era games, generation games. You know what I'm saying? Between Mortal Kombat, Deadly Alliance, Deception. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand why they put her in the game. Nobody cares about Natara. That's probably why she got killed off the way she did. You know what I'm saying? Watch the movie. I'm not going to tell you how she got killed off, but she got killed off before she can even throw a single blow. You know what I mean? That's all I'm going to say about Natara, because I don't give a shit about Natara. Honestly, I ain't even going to lie to you. Next character, Melina. Now, Melina is like, Shang Tsung's left hand, right hand, whatever you want to call her. She's pretty much up there with Sub-Zero. Now, I don't know why they put her in the movie either without Katana, because Melina came from Katana's DNA, basically. You know what I'm saying? With Katana and a Tarkatan. You know what I mean? She's mixed with Katana's blood and the Tarkatan DNA. That's why she looks the way she do with the teeth and shit. You know what I'm saying? When she takes off her mask. But in this movie, it's all Melina. You know what I mean? And I think Melina is all right. They tried to make her look beautiful but ugly at the same time. So she's like a beautifully ugly creature. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I say Melina, the chick that played Melina, her performance was, it was all right. You know what I mean? But she didn't really do much to me. She didn't do much in the movie. You know what I'm saying? She had a couple fight scenes here and there. You know what I mean? But she gets killed off as well. You know what I mean? And I'm just going to spoil that for you. But I'm not going to tell you how. So you just got to go watch the movie and find out. You know what I'm saying? So the next character after Melina, we'll talk about Shang Tsung. So, man, Shang Tsung. Shang Tsung didn't really do shit. You know what I mean? Besides, commanding people and just walking around, just talking shit. You know what I mean? He didn't really do anything. You know what I mean? He was just like an opposing figure that was just talking to Raiden and kept telling Raiden that there will be no tournament because I'm going to kill your fighters before anything can happen. That's basically Shang Tsung's character in the movie. Moving on. So next was Raiden. Now, a lot of people had complaints in this movie that Raiden was an Asian guy, right? While they said in the other movies, Raiden was a white guy. Now, Raiden could pretty much take on any form. That's my opinion. You know what I'm saying? He's God of Thunder. So in the games, yes, he has the appearance of a white dude, right? But Raiden, we know, is probably Asian. You know what I'm saying? Like in the first game. I mean, I know it's a white guy that plays the characters or whatever, right? But I guess they tried to have a different take on Raiden in this version. You know what I'm saying? Raiden, they tried to make him accurate with the glowing eyes and whatnot. But I don't know, it was something that didn't sit right with me with his character. You know what I'm saying? Number one, he was an asshole. You know what I'm saying? Number two, I don't know. It was something about Raiden that wasn't right with me. You know what I'm saying? But he did all right. You know what I'm saying? He did what he was supposed to do. You know what I mean? And then him and Shang Tsung at the end had a little talk. Something happened. I'm not going to say what. You got to watch the movie to find out. You know what I mean? So we're going to move on. All right. Raiko. So, Raiko. Raiko didn't really do shit either. Raiko was like, he was basically a stupid character. You know what I mean? He was like a big bumbling idiot. You know what I'm saying? Him and Jax, they had their thing. You know what I'm saying? Like the two biggest fighters in the movie going head to head. And I really can't speak much on him because he didn't really do much either. You know what I mean? To me, he was just there. You know what I mean? So again, watch the movie, find out what you can find out about Raiko. You know what I mean? Because can't really say much. And the last character. This character I wanted to save for last because this was my biggest complaint about the movie. Goro. Now, you had Cole Young going up against Goro. The dude that couldn't beat the dude in the beginning of the movie who tapped out on him winds up beating Goro. Although he did unlock his Arcana. You know what I'm saying? He did. He did. So, he had like this suit. Cole Young had this suit, right? I don't know. I didn't like the way the suit looked. And then he had like these blades that came out. That's pretty much how he took out Goro. I don't care if I spoiled it or not, man. Goro should have been Shang Tsung's right-hand man in this movie. His right hand and his left hand. You know what I'm saying? Because he's Prince Goro, number one. Number two, he was a champion for 500 years. And this movie didn't reflect any of that. You know what I'm saying? They put Goro in as just a henchman, another henchman for, you know what I'm saying, for Shang Tsung. That's it. You know what I mean? That's all I can say about Goro, man. You just got to watch the movie. He appears twice, I believe. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, I didn't like the way they did Goro, man. That's fucked up. But anyway, moving on to the next segment. What I think overall about this movie. If I had to put it up against the other two movies, the original two movies, then because I have the three, movie edition, the 3-disc edition. So the first movie is number one. I would have to say this movie's number two. And Mortal Kombat Annihilation is always going to be number three. That movie sucks. So I'll tell you, I don't know what the hell you thinking, bro. That movie's terrible. But yeah, Mortal Kombat 2021, y'all. I have to give that movie, I give it a 5 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those movies that you could probably go back and give it another shot, you know what I mean, after a while. Maybe your opinion might change on it. You never know. You know what I'm saying? But for me, it's a 5 out of 10. I watched it twice already. Same opinion. You know what I mean? That's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to say about this movie. You know what I mean? If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. And before we jump off of here, talent show. The online World Rule Online talent show started last night. If you're in the group, let's talk about it. Get your videos up. You got 6 more days. You know what I'm saying? The deadline is the 23rd. So if you got your videos in, put your videos in, inbox me. Let me know what you're doing so I can go back and check it out. I'm going to have a panel. So at the end, we'll do a raffle. I'll drop it down to 5 people. Whoever's name I pull will win the prize. The prize is God of War Ragnarok for the PS5. But if you don't have a console, let me know and we can adjust the prize. And that's pretty much it for the video, y'all. I thank y'all for listening to me. I'm about to jump off of here. Got to do some things. My dog is sitting right here. You know what I mean? So got to tend to her. And I get at y'all later on. Again, appreciate you guys for jumping on here. And I will see y'all soon. Peace.